So today we are looking at handling objections effectively, right? Or rather, handling objections professionally. Handling objections professionally. And this is one of the most important skills you need to learn in our business. Now, what I'm going to be taking you through is a sequence of activities that you need to do that positions you as a consultant in the business, so you can be able to help people, advise them, and probably get them to sign up into the business. Now, when we tell you, you can see I didn't name it overcoming objections, right? Some people call it overcoming objections, but I choose not to call it overcoming objections because what you do with an objection is to handle it and not to overcome, right? You overcome something when you subdue it. So it is not everybody you talk to that will partake in the business, right? So no matter what you do, no matter how good you are in handling objections, a vast majority of people will not join you in the business, no matter what you say. So we don't handle objections, right? We don't overcome objections. We handle the objections. We handle the objections. We make the prospects see reasons why they need to do this business. We advise them professionally, and if they want to go along with us, fine and good. But if they don't want to go along with us, it's not a big deal at all. Life continues, right? And we're going to be treating some of the most common objections that you will face as you advance and do your business. But before I go into how to handle the objections, I want to tell you something I call the success cycle. The success cycle, right? I will be talking about the success cycle. We also have the enhanced success cycle. But then let me just show you the brief success cycle. Because when you understand the success cycle, you understand why you are making money and why you are not making money, right? And that will be very, very quick. So I'll quickly share my screen. Now, let's look at the success cycle. The success cycle is simple. Pay attention. If you are not making money in the business, it means you are not doing something in the success cycle, right? If you are not making money in the business, you are not doing something in the success cycle. That's the reason you are not making money in the business. Are you with me? Now let's look at the success cycle. Very simple. Okay, so when you look at the screen now, the first thing you do in the success cycle is generate leads. Generate leads. That's what we call prospecting. These are the people you want to share the business with. If you are not generating leads, you will not make money in the business, right? So if you want to do this business and you are not ready to do this, it is just a fact that you will not make money in the business. So for some of you, we'll be telling you, make a name list, do this, do that, do this, do that, and you have been refusing to do that. And as far as you refuse to do that, you don't have a business, right? So generate leads. The second thing in the success cycle is invite them to the business. You invite the leads to the business. People you've shown the business, people you've shown you generated as leads, invite them to the business. If you have leads and you don't invite them, you are not in business. So for all of you who have all those amazing names on your phones and you don't invite them, you are not in business, right? The third thing you do in the success cycle, second. Show them the business. Now you can see I am not using the normal phrases you are familiar with, prospecting, invitation. No, I'm just using normal, what you can really tag along with easily. So the next one, show them the business. So when you generate a lead, you invite the lead consciously into a presentation and then show them the business. Showing them the business can be inviting them into one of our Zoom meetings, sending them a video to watch, doing a one-on-one presentation with them. Whatever means you need to use, invite them to watch the presentation. And then finally, teach the cycle, teach the cycle, teach the cycle. If you don't teach the cycle, you are not in business, right? So it's not just in you generating leads, inviting them, signing them up and abandoning them. No, you have to teach the cycle. so that this cycle continues to grow. Now, what you also need to know is this: the more skill you have at any stage, the better your results. So if your skill set is very, very low, guess what? Your results will be very low, even if you do the cycle. If your skill set is average, you will have average results, even if you do the cycle. But if your skill set are excellent, you will have excellent results as you do the cycle, right? It's as simple as that. So in front of you here now, you need to look at it and ask yourself, what are you doing in the business? Generate leads, invite them to the business, show them the business, teach the cycle. Simple. These are the core things that will make your business successful. Now, when you want to enhance this, you now start talking about handling of objections, getting them started, and the rest of other stuff. That is what you now, those are the things that come into the enhanced success cycle. But for the basic success cycle, this is what it is. If you do these 4 things, you are going to create amazing results in your business. If you are not doing these 4 things effectively, you don't have a business. The more skill you have at any of the stages, the better the result you're going to get in the business. It is as simple as that, right? So let's go back to the reason we are here today. We're going to be talking about handling objections professionally. Handling objections professionally. And we're looking at the most common objections. These are the things that people tell you when they have seen a presentation, right? So in handling objections, you don't just dish out stereotyped answers to prospects and expect them to respond exactly how you want it to be, like clockwork, right? So there are some places you attend trainings, they tell you if somebody says, I don't have time, you tell him that 24 hours in a day, you spend 8 hours working, 8 hours sleeping. What do you do with the remaining 8 hours, right? Handling objection does not mean you should make somebody feel stupid, right? Does not mean you should not listen to what the person is saying. Does not mean that when you say A, the person will respond B. No, that is not how it is done. Even though there are such lines that may guide you, it is not necessarily the way to go. Handling objections involves you becoming a consultant. That is what works, becoming a consultant, because remember that our job is to help the blind see, to guide them from where they are to where we want them to be. And that is a place where they tell us that they are ready to get started in the business, right? So a line that works for one prospect may not work for another prospect. Therefore, we call this topic the guidelines to handling objections. So these are basically guidelines to handling objections. These are basically guidelines that you must follow in order to present yourself as a consultant in the business. So when you follow these guidelines, people will want to listen to you because you are talking from the point of view of someone who is a consultant, and the consultant is supposed to be an expert in that particular field, right? So understand that people who pay immediately after a presentation are just a gift to you. Your presentation is nothing more than a mine, right? A gold mine, a mine where you mine the raw materials you need to work with. And those raw materials are your prospects, right? So mine your prospects. Mine your prospects. The size of your business is evident from the quality of follow-up that you do and you teach your team to do. As simple as that. So mine your prospects. When people come for a presentation, they are just the people in the mine, right? They're just the raw materials. All you need to do is to tap from them, and you are able to build a business for yourself, right? So mine your prospects. Now, the quality of follow-up you do is very important. And not just what you do, what you teach your team to do, right? As evident from what I showed you in the success cycle. So if you do those things and you teach your team to do the same thing, you have what is called duplication occur in your business. And duplication is said to be the golden fleece of network marketing. That's what everybody in network marketing is looking for. That's what I am looking for. That's what you are looking for. That's what everybody in the business is looking for. A situation where everybody is coming in and doing the right thing and you are getting paid, right? You are not getting paid because you are the one doing everything. You're getting paid because so many people are doing a little thing, right? So be a consultant and help them solve their problems, right? Help them solve their problems. Remember, our job is simply to make the blind see. The day you come to the realization that our job is to help the blind see is the day your redemption begins in our business. That is the day you stop being desperate and you start building a formidable team. The day you stop being desperate is the day you start building a formidable team. That's the day you understand that our job is to help the blind see. That's when you need to understand that our job is really here to help people. Help people. When you come from a position of wanting to help people, then you're going to build a very formidable team. Because right now you're no longer interested in whether you are making money. You're more interested in helping someone else make money. And as you help someone else make money, help the person make the good life, live the good life, automatically your business begins to grow. It's written in the Bible that if you want to get everything you want, you have to give, you have to help as many people as possible to have what they want, right? So the more you help people, the more you teach people, the more you help them live the dream life, the more you live your own dream life. But if you are selfish, you're not teaching them, you're not helping them, guess what? You have nothing for yourself. So what you need to grasp now is the mentality that drives the process. Is the mentality and not any particular script, right? Understand that the mentality is far more effective than any script you use. It gives you the capacity to look at the objections from the standpoint of the prospect and tactically find a working solution that benefits the prospect. So what you're doing in handling objection is looking at what the prospect is facing, and then you're going to help guide him through that process based on what he is looking at, right? Because if Mr. A tells you I don't have money, Mr. B tells you I don't have money, Mr. C tells you I don't have money, even though three of them don't have money, three of them are looking at not having money from a completely different point of view. And so if you think what works for Mr. A will work for Mr. B and work for Mr. C, because it is the same objection, I don't have money, if you are not able to place yourself on the spot with them and analyze the objection based on what they are seeing, you will not be able to create the result that you are looking for, right? What we're saying is that we're not asking you to look at them and to accept what they are saying. You say they don't have money, you put yourself in their shoes and say, well, they don't have money, so what will they do? Nothing they can do about it? No, that's not what we're saying. But what you want to do is to try and bring yourself in the shoes of the prospect as you try to handle his objection. That is what it means to be a consultant. Place yourself in their shoes. And one of the things consultants like to do is to ask questions. When you go to the hospital to see a doctor, you tell the doctor, I have pancreatitis obesitum. The doctor does not tell you take 3 Panadol in the morning, 3 chloroquine in the night, 3 Fancida in the evening, right? No, he doesn't do that. He sits you down and begins to ask you questions. How do you feel? Do you feel pain here? What do you do? He examines you, he checks you up, and then he's able to run some tests on you before he draws a conclusion on what is wrong with you, right? And then he checks your weight and tells you, okay, you know, we're going to give you this, you're going to do this, you're going to do that, you're going to do this, right? That is how a consultant functions. But if you come into our business and think that somebody else tells you, I don't have money, and you just dish out something to him that way, it doesn't work that way. Every objection handling process starts with you understanding the problem. And it's not your problem, it's the prospect's problem. So for you to understand the problem, you must listen to the prospect carefully to understand what the prospect is saying before you are able to tell him what to do or what not to do. Now, objections are always the unpleasant side of this business. You will hear some common ones, and few of them could be get you shaking your head in confusion. Sometimes you will just get so downright pissed off at these objections people are raising, right? But if you can diffuse a customer's potential, objection, right, you're a step closer to closing the deal. So if you want to run a business without an objections, then you need to look for some other thing to do. Don't do any business. You can't do any business without an objection. So if you're expecting to run a business without having an objection, forget it. You're wasting your time, right? What you need to do is go find yourself a job in the post office. When you have a job in the post office, then you are sure nobody's going to give you objections, right? But if you really want to build a business, you want to do something very fantastic, guess what? People are going to be reluctant to joining you. Nobody wants to part with their money. Nobody. Even if it's to buy something that they want for themselves. They would rather have somebody give it to them for free than spending their money to get it. Nobody wants to part with their money. So before you can get somebody to part with your money, you must make it worth it. You must make it worth it. Don't think you just, because you just shown somebody the business and the person will just take 38,000 naira and say, take 38,000 naira. No, that's not how it works generally. Anybody that does that to you, that gives you money to start the business immediately, is just a gift to you. So don't think others are going to do that. Our job is to be a consultant. Remember, your job is to make the blind see. Your job is to be a consultant that shows people how to take charge of their lives through the massive opportunities in this business. Never for a second underestimate the power you have in your hand to change the lives of generations of your prospects yet unborn. That's why I tell people that this is a powerful business. This is a holy business. This business is not just a business. This business is a divine call. Because through you, people who come to see this business can create what we call generational wealth, and their families, their children have better lifestyle, and generations after them are also able to have better lifestyle because you said yes to the business. But when you say no to the business, or you sign up into the business and you abandon the business, remember, you are also responsible for what is generational poverty. Now you might say, why would I say generational poverty for you? Well, you might be successful in some other thing you are doing, but in this business, you had a divine call you refused to adhere to. And that divine call was for you to take this business into the hands of people who will take it into the hands of people who will take it into the hands of people. And some of those people we are talking about are people that this business will rescue financially. So instead of them creating generational wealth, because you refuse to do your business, you help them create generational poverty. And you will be answerable to that too. Right? So this business is not something you have the option of not doing. So it is important to learn these skills so that you can properly inform those people who are out there that needs to be saved by our business. So what you have for them is a gift. It's a gift. What you have for people is a gift. Unfortunately, many of them will rebel. They will rebel like a drowning man who is about being saved. They will rebel through objections. And like the big brother you are, your job is to guide them through these objections and make them understand, make them make the informed decision of signing up into your business. Mastery of handling objections is a core skill for every top earner in this business. So you want to join the elite group of top earners by mastering these skills. So I challenge you, master the skills of handling objections. The only way you can handle objections, you can learn how to handle objections, is to be inside the objections, right? To follow in, to do the drill, to get dirty, to get back into the grind, to get back into the dirt, to do these calls. Don't be afraid. Many people, you don't want to lose one prospect, and that's the reason why you don't get one prospect. You don't want to lose one. So somebody comes to the presentation and you don't follow up, you don't call the person asks you a question, you cannot say anything, you cannot attempt anything. You are not trying to make yourself an expert by trying to handle their objections. You're only trying to guide them. If they want you to guide them, they will get to the place where they're supposed to get to. But how will you guide them when you're not trained? And how will you get trained when you don't do what you need to do? So you need to practice, and for everybody you talk to, you get better. You see, Eric Wally says, progress is perfection. Progress is perfection. The more you progress on something, the more perfect you get at it. So you don't wait until you become an expert before you start handling objections. No. From the presentation we're going to do today, ensure you start handling objections today. Right? Objection can be terrifying for the new network marketer. But remember that the worst outcome will be a no. That's the worst that can happen. As my younger brother used to say, sticks and stones can break my back, but your words can never hurt me. So get up and start again with your next contact. Don't ever let the objections frighten you from your success. Right? And you see, one thing about objections is that many of them are really not objections. Many of them are just simply a request for help. A request for help. People want help. They want you to help them get past these slumps. They really don't know why. They really want some help in getting past all those stuff, and you are the one that's supposed to help them. And guess what? Remember, in business, for you to make money in business, you are paid for providing value. You are paid for solving problems. In network marketing, you are also paid for solving problems. And one of those problems you solve is their objections. Every objection is a problem you need to solve. Solve it like a professional. That's as simple as it goes, right? Now, people communicate in a variety of ways. They may ask questions, they may make comments, and they may make objections. So it can be questions, comments, objections, whatever it is they're coming with. For you to handle those stuff, start by remembering the following steps. These steps were shown to us yesterday when we watched a recording when it talked about handling objections, right? Step 1, always listen carefully to the objections and ask great questions. So step 1 is to listen. Listen carefully to the objections and ask great questions, right? Ask great questions. You might want to validate the objections. I'll come to that. Number 2, you want to relate with the objections by putting yourself on the spot, right? Relate with the objections by putting yourself on the spot. Now, if you don't put yourself on the spot, you might not be able to relate very well. The person might not see you as relating, right? So put yourself on the spot. Don't put the person on the spot, put yourself on the spot, right? And then number 3, tell a story. Tell a story, use the feel, felt, found method, right? Use the feel, felt, found method when you tell your story. I'm going to come to that. And then number 4, if I, would you. Now, what's the feel, felt, found method? You tell somebody, I know how you feel. I felt the same way. Can I share with you what I found? Right? Now the guy tells you, I don't have money. You tell him, I know how you feel. Right? When you say, I don't have money, you know why? Because I felt the same way too. Right? I felt the same way. When I was shown this business, I had no money to start, and that was a very terrible, horrible feeling for me. But you know what I found? I found out that blah, 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 blah. Right? So tell a story using the feel, felt, found method. Right? And then you now conclude with, if I, would you. If I, would you. That is where you are closing down the prospect. If I do this to you, would you be ready to get started now? If I do this, would you do this? If I do this, would you do this? Right? So you want to start by validating whatever objection the person is bringing, and you want to do that by using I call them the 2 leading lines of Matt Morris. Matt Morris is one of the top leaders in network marketing, right? So you can use what I call his 2 leading lines to validate every objection you have in this business. Line number 1, let's say the person's name is Mr. Prospect, right? And the person has seen a presentation and the person brings up an objection. So what do you do? One of those lines is, the first line is, Mr. Prospect, do you want to do this business? Mr. Prospect, do you want to do this business? Mr. Prospect says, yes, I want to do. Mr. Prospect says, I don't want to do the business. Yes, guess what? That job is essentially done, right? It's no longer going to take place. You can't get the person to start doing the business when he doesn't want to do the business, right? So you can leave that out. You might want to also check up on that person a few months later and see if their mind has changed. But then, for now, it is basically essentially done. You don't try to push people that way. Now, if the man says, I want to do the business, then you go up to the next one. Mr. Prospect, do you really want to do this business, or is your blah, blah, blah? The blah, blah, blah is the objection of the prospect, right? So, Mr. Prospect, do you really want to do this business, or is your saying, I don't have time? Is your saying, I don't have money? Is your saying, I don't know how to convince people? Is your saying, I want to speak to my spouse? Is your saying, blah, 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 a polite way of saying you are not interested? Because believe it or not, some prospect will turn you down politely by giving you an objection. I will sign up next 2 weeks. I will sign up in 3 months' time, right? A friend of mine did that to me some days ago, some weeks ago. Said he would be signing up. He wanted to sign up, was very, very much ready. We did a close down, and probably his wife didn't want to do the business. And then he said, okay, you know what? I'm going to sign up. My wife is going to sign up in 3 months' time because I'm busy now. In 3 months' time, right? Another one said that I will sign up tomorrow. I'll sign up next tomorrow. Oh, I remember I will sign up tomorrow, right? And the tomorrow never ends, right? So you can say, is your saying I will sign up tomorrow a polite way of saying you're not interested? So at this stage, you go on to become a consultant. that guides the prospect into making a right decision, which is to join the business, right? So always remember to use the feel, felt, found method. I know how you feel. I felt the same way. Let me share with you what I found, right? Now, it is important you go through these things very well, because when you go through them very well, you will position yourself as a consultant. This is the only thing that differentiates you from somebody who is an expert, because you see, every other thing is done for you. The only thing we cannot do for you is handle your objections. That is why you need to learn it, because this is a close down. This is the only thing we cannot do for you. We have given you the script that you can use to invite people. We have given you the presentation is done for you. All you need to do, invite them into Zoom, right? That is done for you too. But guess what? What is it that you need to do? When they have seen the presentation, probably you've done a three-way call and they said they will still sign up. The man who did your three-way call is not the one following up on your people. You have to be the one to follow up on your people. What that means that you need to learn these lines, right? Learn this. Have the mindset, have the mentality, because this is what will take you from where you are to where you want to be. I really don't know if we can digest this before the end of today. The masterclass is a 2 hours program, right? I hope we can be able to get this done within 2 hours. That should be by 9. We should have been finishing. I doubt it, but if we can finish by 9, that would be very, very amazing, right? So let us proceed. So I will be showing you how to handle the best techniques for handling difficult, or rather skeptical prospects, right? So you learn how to handle objections professionally. Now, when faced with an objection from a prospect, many people in network marketing are too quick to say next and walk away, right? They rush away just because they have an objection. An objection doesn't mean you are dealing with a negative person. Most of the time, people are just searching for clarity or more information before they decide to join you or not. And in many cases too, you have not made it important enough for them to risk their money to get started in the system. So instead of walking away from a prospect who has a question or an objection, wouldn't it be better to learn how to help them? Especially when it is the same questions that keep coming out over and over again, repeatedly. The same questions. So there are not so many of there are not too many questions that make that prospects bring out. They are practically the same questions over and over again. So why don't we just develop the skills that we need to handle these questions, so that we can actually become more successful in the business? So learn how to speak to your prospects using mind-changing phrases. Using mind-changing phrases, right? Hypnotic phrases. You have to learn how to converse. There's a training I've always wanted to do, but I'm with the team. I'm not done with getting the training for myself yet, right? I'm still going through the training. It's called conversational hypnosis. Conversational hypnosis. And most of those words in the conversational hypnosis have been used in so many of these scripts we have here today. And what that means is that when you talk to people using some of these phrases, people don't know when they naturally begin to tune to go in line with what you are telling them. They don't know. They just find themselves doing what you are telling them, because they are being hypnotized softly and they don't know. Right? So you will learn how some of those things are being done. Those things some of them are infused in these scripts. Now we're going to cover how to handle network marketing objections, because objections, believe it or not, are really what's going to determine whether you are going to move forward in this business or not. Because you see, when you get on the phone with someone at the end of the day and you want to collect a decision from them whether they're going to join your business or not, odds are very, very high that these people will have a question to ask you, right? They'll bring up an objections, they'll bring up something, and you see, you need to be able to handle it. I want to preface this with the fact that most objections are based on either the prospect's fears or their doubts in their own ability to do the deal. And like I already said, that there are two basic objections in network marketing. One of them is limited belief in network marketing. The other one is limited belief in themselves, right? When somebody says it is a pyramid scheme, That is a limited belief in network marketing. When somebody says it doesn't work, it's a limited belief in network marketing. When someone says I don't have time, limited belief in yourself. I don't have money, limited belief in yourself. I can't convince people, limited belief in yourself. So you see, these are basically two. So when you understand this, you will now be able to structure your handling your objections in such ways that they can really be able to flow with you and probably change their mind and make decisions to get started in the business. Right now, objections typically come from the standpoint of doesn't typically come rather from the standpoint of this is a scam, this won't work. Objections typically centers around how the person feels about how they are going to be perceived and the way other people are going to look at them. In other words, they are thinking about what people will say. Most people will not join your business, not because of money or whatever it is. They are not going to join your business because they are thinking about what people will say about them, what people feel about them, how people will look at them. These are some of the reasons why these people will not key into the system immediately. The reason why they will bring out all these objections, it boils down to how they feel. And network marketing and sales generally boils down to how you can make someone feel. Handling objections generally is all about you making the person feel good. Once you can get the person to feel cool, feel good, feel okay, the person is going to sign up into your system. But if the person doesn't feel good, guess what? No matter what you do, they will not sign up. So they're not thinking about probably whether this is going to be useful for them. It's all about how it makes them feel. Why do you think somebody builds a 6-bedroom duplex? Why do you think somebody buys a Ferrari? Why do you think somebody buys a BMW X5? Why do you think people buy these amazing things for themselves? It's all about how it makes them feel. Right? If it's about functionality, guess what? A Golf can take you from here to Lagos. A Ferrari can take you from here to Lagos. But the feeling of moving from here to Lagos in a Golf is different from the feeling of moving from here to Lagos in a Ferrari. So it's all about how they feel. Right? So you need to understand that. Now remember, this isn't about you as a network marketing professional. This is about your prospects, the way they feel, the way they think with respect to what they have seen and what the research that they have done. Those are the things that will arouse the feelings in them. So all you need to do as a network marketer is to make them feel good based on what you are telling them as it's related to what they say their objection is in the first place. So let's look at the first objection, and one of the most common objections that you have in network marketing. I don't have time. I don't have time. I don't have time is one of the most common objections that people have in network marketing. And that's really a big one, because what you need to do is to be a consultant here now. This objection is based on the thought that a person already has a full day. And by the way, before we even go into the objection, let me make something very clear. We have had situations where people we call, okay, I want you to help me talk to somebody, and they put me on the phone. And one of the first things I ask the person is, have you seen our presentation? Some of them will say, presentation, what do you mean by that? Have you seen a presentation? Have you attended any of our presentation, either on Zoom, watched a video, blah, blah, blah? The guy says, no, he has not. I said, really? So if you are asking me to talk to someone and the person has not seen a presentation, what do you want me to do? You expect me to do a presentation over the phone? That's not how it works. Now, I want to also ask the person a second question. Did you stay to the end of the presentation? I expect a yes answer, because if the answer is also no, it means that this man is not even qualified yet to be at the stage where we're trying to handle his objections. because most of those objections would have been handled during the presentation. And now he didn't go to a presentation and you are trying to handle objections. So the first thing you need to determine before you talk to anybody, right, in this business, who you handle anyone's objection, is to first of all verify if that person is qualified, is at the level in the system yet where you can handle their objections. If the man has not seen a presentation, you have no business trying to handle his objections. You will be wasting your time. It is as simple as that. Somebody who has not seen a presentation, you don't have any business trying to get the person to try to handle his objections. You don't have any business doing that. Let him go back to first principles, right? Let him begin by watching a full presentation. After that, he will now be qualified to ask you sensible questions, intelligent questions, questions that you can now answer and guide him. But if he has not attended the presentation, then you begin to have questions like how do you people make your money, right? How do you make your money? Questions like what is this thing all about? What is this thing all about? And when you're talking about how much the person can make every day, the person say, wait, where does that come from? Where is it coming from? Right? Now you need to understand that the person goes through a presentation before you take the objection. So objection number one, I don't have time. This objection is based on the thought that the person already has a full day and no time to try something new. And that is the fact. You see, when somebody, most people who come for presentation feel they have a full day. I mean, no more time. They work from morning till afternoon to evening. And then after that, they believe that the next thing they need to do is go and rest at home. Right? And you see, there is this thing that happens to most people. They activate their money-making mode by 8 o'clock in the morning. By 5 p.m. in the evening, they shut down their money-making mode. And then they activate their entertainment mode from 5 p.m. in the evening to sometime around 12 midnight thereabout. And then they shut that mode down and activate their sleeping mode. So you see, once you are talking to them from 5 p.m. in the evening to 12 midnight, they believe that they don't have time because they have marshaled out that time for entertainment. It comes in different phases without going to drinks, clubs, sitting down at home watching TV, and some people call it family time. Yes, nobody's asking you not to have family time, but guess what? Your family needs you to have family time, and your family also needs you to take care of their bills. So you might want to reduce your family time a little if you are very busy in the office and put it into this business so that the remaining time you have for family time can be quality family time. Quality family time. Not family time you spend discussing how you don't have money, how you can't pay their school fees, how this cannot happen, how that cannot happen, right? So why don't you just remove 1 or 2 hours in your family time and put it into this business, build a business so that the remaining 3-4 hours of your family time can be worth it, instead of having 6 terrible hours of family time because you are there thinking about how to solve problems, pay school fees, pay house rent, pay what and having trouble all over the place, right? So let's not become smart. So your first comment should be to let them know many other people do MLM part-time, right, around their busy days. So when you are being a consultant to somebody who tells you he doesn't have time, you need to let them know that this is a part-time deal. Let them know that our system is so unique that we advise people, right, to start running the business part-time to develop cash flow advantage over their colleagues. Let them know that. When the guy says, I don't have time, wow. You want to look at it and say, and then go back to those questions, right? Those issues I mentioned, the things you need to do first in handling objections, right? Those first things you need to do. Now, remember I said you have to always listen and ask great questions. You have to relate to the questions that put yourself in the spot, and then you tell the story, and then you do if I would you, right? So when the man says, I don't have time, you say, wow, this is so amazing. That is the reason why we are showing you this, right? Because you know what? I really understand what you say. I'm really in your shoes right now when you say, I don't have time. I know how that feels because I felt the same way too when I saw this business because I was so busy. I was already using 27 out of the 24 hours every day, right? My hands were filled up. I had like 12 hands doing 12 things at the same time. I had no extra time for anything, right? So that is where you actually told him that you know how he feels. But let me tell you what I found. I found out that I have been doing this for the last 10 years. And in the last 10 years, I've not developed more time for myself. I found out that I'm not getting younger, right? I'm getting older. And I was asking myself, is this what I will continue to do until the day I die? What if I get old and I'm no longer as strong as I am to keep doing all this stuff, right? I am missing out on a lot of stuff in life, missing out on my kids growing up, not hanging out with them, not hanging out with family, not being able to relax. I'm always working. I don't have the time. I knew I needed to take back my time. And for me to take back my time, I needed to create some time out of my busy schedule from this business. Put yourself in the spot. I looked at this critically and I told myself the truth. I told myself that there are 24 hours in every day. I spend, let's say, 8 hours at work, working very hard, 8 hours. So I am really not tampering with my work time. I told myself, okay, what if I sleep another 8 hours in that 24 hours period? Now I have spent 16 hours. I still have 8 whole hours left. What I needed to do was to find out where these 8 hours were and begin to structure my business into those 8 hours. Of course, I removed time for prayers, I removed time from going to work, I removed some time for hanging out with friends, but I was still able to extract about 2 hours thereabout that was free within my 24 hours every day. That was because I analyzed it and I was able to create the time to do the business. And that is what I am doing currently. And although I am just new in the business, guess what? I know that over the next 6 months to 12 months, because right now I'm being mentored by the best of the best in my spare time, I look over to the next 6 months with great anticipation and joy as I begin to live the La Buena Vida. I begin to live the good life. I begin to get the things I need to get. I begin to live the success stories of those who have gone before me, right? Like I said, you need to become a consultant. Well, all I said now, most of this stuff I said now, I think I just brought out from my head, because these are the things I will normally say if I am talking to a prospect. Because what I need to do was to place myself on the spot. Don't tell him you have 24 hours in a day. No, tell him what you found out. I found out that I had 24 hours in a day. I found out that I was very, very busy already. I found out that if I don't make the time, I will never have the time. I found out that it is for me to make my time to do my business. I found out that despite the fact that I was busy, I still had time to watch TV. I still had time to gist with friends. I still had time to hang out. I still had time to do this. So why don't I just take out some of those time and put in my business? And since I was able to do that, I became successful, right? So these are some of the things you do when you're looking at, I don't have time, right? So offer to show them how they can fit into whatever they already do, and ask them if they will like to hear more about that, right? You need to offer to show them. Let them know, because they're already occupied. If they don't have time, you want to offer to show them how they can fit this business into whatever it is they're doing, and ask them if they would like to hear more about it. Show them how they can leverage on the structure and support of the team to grow the business. Tell them how they can invite their friends to our meetings using our scripts during their free period. Let them know that the team will be available to show them the business, even though they're at work, right? So we are there to show them the business even though they're at work, right? By running the business part-time, they can leverage on the team until they begin to make more than their salaries. It's as simple as that. So you want to show them different scenarios, right? Ask your prospect if it is worth trading some of their valuable time for something that can provide them with an income for life. Because you see, so for some time, all you need to so for some people, all you need to do basically is to ask them if they're ready to sacrifice. Ask them if they're ready to sacrifice. Trade some of their valuable time for something that their life too can change, right? Perhaps they could fix some extra time into their schedule for it. Work out a 1 hour period with them and get them to commit to using that 1 hour period effectively for the business. Ensure they understand that the team is there to help them succeed if they can commit their best within that 1 hour. That's as simple as it goes. You can also provide a solution to their time management problem. You can tell them how to handle you can tell them how network marketing can help them free up time so that they can have time to do whatever they enjoy doing. Let them know that. Because when you begin to do network marketing, you might want to drop one of those 3 jobs that you are doing, right? Or you want to drop that job that's not paying you well because this one begins to pay you very well. Then you have some free time for yourself. You might want to stop working overtime because this one pays you much more than your overtime can actually pay you. So you want to do that. Let them understand fully that this is the only occupation in the world that takes a nobody from a job and gives the person back control of their time over a period. Right? Another tactic is to ask them that if they continue doing what they are doing, will they have time, more time in 5 years' time or less? That's what I like asking people. So let's look at it. Now you're very busy, that's all right. You've been busy for the last 5 years or thereabouts. If you continue at this pace, you don't have time, you don't have time, you don't have time. Do you see yourself having more time 5 years from today? The answer is always no. They don't see themselves having more time. So what are you doing about it? Do you like not having time? Right? But you see, if you try the multi-level marketing opportunity, the network marketing opportunity, the goal is to have more time in the future. Ask them to take a good look at their bosses and ask them if they dream life, that's the life they dream for themselves. I like to ask you that question too. I'll tell them, I can predict your future. I can show you your future today. The guy said, what do I mean? I said, take a look. Let's look at your office now. That office you love so much, right? That you think is the ultimate thing for you. Is there anybody in that office who is 5 years older than you in the office or 10 years older than you in the office? They say, yes, they have bosses. I said, look at that man. Do you like his lifestyle? Do you like the house he lives in? Do you like the environment he lives? Do you like the school his children go to? Do you like the kind of car he drives? Do you like how much money comes into his pocket every day? Most times the answer is no. I'll just simply tell you the truth. The truth is this: that man is you 5 years, 10 years from today. That man is you. And that man is even in a better situation than you 10 years from today. You know why? Because by that time, the economy would have gone worse than it is today. So that means that what the lifestyle that man is enjoying today, you might not be able to enjoy it in 5 years' time or in 10 years' time. So you need to do something about it. Right? There is also the notion about working hard to achieve someone else's dream. But if you follow a new path, you can work towards achieving your own dream instead. So these are some of the things that you need to understand. Now, when you remember when we discussed how to follow up on people, right? We showed you the close down lines. So at the point of handling objections, you always hit your close down, right? You do what we call the kill. Because I told you that there's a couple of things in a typical follow-up script, right? When you make a follow-up call, and one of those things you put there is a script, right? The first thing we have there is the praise, right? You need to praise the person. So we told you that you must have a 1-paragraph summary, right? When you are doing a follow-up call, we're going to come to that later. But one of the things you have to have the praise, you must have the credibility transfer, right? You must have the kill. The kill is the one I want to show you now. So when you are finished taking him all through those stuff, you come into the kill, or rather the call to action, right? Well, I love to call it the kill, because this is where you slaughter the person, you take the person to the slaughterhouse, right? If I could show you a 6-month plan to increasing your cash flow by 300%, without interfering in your current job, and with just 1 hour of your time per day, would you be ready to get started right away? Remember, if I would you can see it's been infused here, right? If I would show you a 6-month plan to increasing your cash flow by 300% without interfering with your current job and with just 1 hour of your time per day, would you be ready to get started right away? Would you? If I would you? If you would not make a commitment to taking the plunge here, you just follow the following line. You just tell him, Mr. Prospect, what is the way forward towards getting you started as fast as possible? What is the way forward towards getting you started as fast as possible? That if he refuses to take it. But if he says, yes, I will start, what do you need to do? You will bring out the SMO, sorry, not SMO checklist, you bring out the 444 work, sorry, the SMO checklist, you bring out the 444 worksheet, and then you show him the 6 months plan. Remember, you asked him a question. If I could show you a 6 months plan, I've seen people who say, if I could show you a 6 months plan to blah blah, will you be ready to get started right away? The guy says yes. It's okay. I'm sending your account number now. Transfer the money. No, that wasn't the agreement. The agreement was you will show him first, after which he will now do his own part. So he has said yes. So what you need to do, show him. So what is the 6 months plan you show him? The SMO checklist, the 444 worksheets, and our 6 months cash flow plan, right? The 6 months fast track plan. We show you in the present. We show you in the when we discuss the SMO checklist with you for 1 account, 3 accounts, 7 accounts, 15 accounts. Show him that. Put him on a Zoom meeting and show him that. And once you are done, you can now get him to start the business, right? So once he has done, you have finished showing everything. Next thing you need to do is tell him, why don't we get you started right away? Why don't we get you started right away? Or you ask him, what are the next steps towards getting you started now? So you have indirectly asked him to tell you what he thinks he needs to do to get started now. And most time they will tell you, it's for me to get paid, it's for me to get started, it's for me to pay. You give them the account number, make a transfer right away. Because one of the most difficult things people have is their inability to tell the prospect to release his money. You show somebody a presentation, and then next thing you are saying is, so you see the presentation, the guy says yes. So good presentation, right? The guy says yes. Yes. What do you like best about the presentation? The guy said, I love this, I love this. I love the fact that I can make me rich. I can become successful in 6 months' time. Blah 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 blah. I love the system so well. I am so excited about the system. And what are you saying? You come with, wow, that's great, that's good, beautiful. Wow, yes, awesome. Because you know that this business is blah blah blah. You begin to resell. No, get your commitment and get it fast. Get your commitment to pay fast. Don't try to resell. We don't even want one objection. We want him to see and pay. But provided he has brought the objection, track the objection, do the objection, immediately after the objection, get him to make a payment immediately. Don't go and bring another objection for him. Get him to make his payment immediately. You want him to pay immediately. So that is how you handle the money objection, right? So for those of you who have paid attention to the I don't have money objection, so that I don't have time objection, guess what? Now you know how to handle the objection. If I could show you a 6 months plan to increase your cash flow by 300% without interfering with your current job and with just 1 hour of your time per day, would you be ready to get started right away? Right? If you are new, you want to say, I have seen this amazing 6 months plan that got me signed up. If I could connect you to my leader who will show you a 6 months plan to increasing your cash flow by 300%, just like I was shown, without interfering with your current job and with just 1 hour of your time every day, would you be ready to get started right away? Very simple. So it doesn't matter whether you are fresh or whether you are old in the business. If you are old, you can use yourself if you are creating results. If you don't have results, you can leverage on the result of leaders in your team. If I can connect you to a leader in my team who will show you a 6 months plan, just like I was just shown, right? That will increase your income by 300% without interfering with your current job and with just 1 hour of your time per day. Would you be ready to get started right away? The guy says yes. You book him for the 6 months for the call. You do it on Zoom. He's on Zoom. You're on Zoom. Your leader is on Zoom. Your leader shows him everything, and at the end, we make the call for him to get started. Very simple. He's in the business, right? Okay. Objection number 2. This one is really big, and this is one objection that most people don't want to hear at all. This one objection will chase a lot of people away. Will chase a lot of people away from the business, right? And that objection is, I have no money to sign up. I don't have money. I don't have money, right? Now, with this objection, this objection is for handling skeptical prospects for your venture. You may find that many people are interested, but they are concerned because they don't have the money, or they are afraid of losing their money. Many of them really don't have the money. Many of them have the money, but they're afraid of losing their money. Some of them have gone into ventures like MMM and all those scams all over the place, and they're asking you to come join them. I'm sorry, then they don't want to join you because they lost their money there. So you might want to start by validating the objection. You might want to start by validating the objection using the lines of Morris. So one of the first things you do is, Mr. Prospect, do you want to do this business? If he responds he does not want to do the business, then there is no need for you to start trying to handle the objection of money. Money is not the objection there. His objection is he does not want to do the business. So you need to be sure what objection you are handling, so that you are not there handling an objection that is not the objection. So you need to validate it, right? So Mr. Prospect, do you want to do this business? If he responds yes, you proceed. Mr. Prospect, do you really want to do this business? Or is your saying, I don't have money, a polite way of saying you are not interested? If he says he really wants to do the business, you can then proceed to becoming a consultant and help him figure out the importance of raising capital, right? And how to leverage and raise the required funding. In this situation, you need to tell him that you also didn't have the money. So you see, feel, felt, found. I know how you feel. I felt exactly the same way when I got started, before I got started, when I saw the opportunity, because I had no money to sign up. I was behind on my bills. I was this, I was that. You tell them about yourself, right? Now, if you had money to sign up when you started, you don't need to tell him that you don't have the money. That would be telling a lie, right? So what you do is, I know exactly how you feel. I know my friend John. I know how John felt when he saw this business and had no money to sign up. John was behind on his bills. John was this, John was that, John was this. You can tell someone else's story. Whatever you do in network marketing, do not lie to these people, right? So in this situation, you need to tell them that you also didn't have the money when you first started, but you saw a life-changing opportunity and you took the plunge. You saw a life-changing opportunity and you took the plunge, right? You can also say you know so many people who never had the money but had to find a way of raising cash so as to change their lives. Most times, this objection stems from the lack of urgency in the minds of the prospect. In this scenario, the prospect would have no qualms borrowing money to pay a debt. But to start our business, all hell breaks loose as the guy begins to render the money objection like a divine chorus. This is a very good place to apply the urgency script to get the prospect to see the objection from a different dimension, right? So all you need to do is to change his focus, change his mindset. Let him know that the problem is not him having money, but probably a problem of prioritizing joining the business, of increasing the urgency to join the business. So you use the urgency script. So you all have the urgency script. I posted it out last week. You've seen the script, right? Use the urgency script to get the guy to want to change his mind. You may also respond back to them and ask them why they are unable to afford the business opportunity. You also need to sort out the difference between them really having interest in the opportunity but not having the cash to get started, and not being interested, but just brushing it off by saying they have no money to start. Right? Now, another tactic is to bring up something they mentioned earlier. You can trigger that by asking them a simple, great question. You ask them a great question. Mr. Prospect, permit me to ask you this amazing question. Let me assume you make 700,000 naira monthly from this business. You are asking me a question, right? Let me assume you make 700,000 naira monthly from this business. What is the first thing you will do with the money that will have the most significance in your life right away? Now that is quite shocking. The man just told you I don't have money. The next thing he's hearing you say, Mr. Prospect, you want to do the business? The guy says, yes, I want to do the business. Do you really want to do the business, or you say, I don't have time, I don't have money, sorry, rather, a polite way of saying you're not interested in the business? He says, no, I want to do the business, but I don't have the money to start, blah, 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 blah. Now you want to get that question, get that answer from them. You ask Mr. Prospect, permit me to ask you something quite this amazing question. Let us assume that you make 700,000 naira monthly from this business. What is the first thing you will do with the money that will have the most significance in your life right away? You might also want to ask him a question, Mr. Prospect. Can you tell me the 3 most important reasons why you would love to do this business right away? Or the 3 most important problems in your life this business can help you solve right away? Are you with me? So when you say that, whatever they say, hold it, squeeze it, and extract a commitment. This question will bring out what I love to call their mumu button. The man tells you, I want to tell, if I'm making 700,000 naira monthly now from this business, well, I'm going to take my child to a better school. When the man mentions the child, take my child to a better school, the next thing that comes out of your mouth is, what is the name of your child? The guy tells you the name of my child is Christabel. From that moment on, Christabel is going to be the topic of this conversation, right? Now you're making 700,000 naira monthly. You're now able to afford. You can take your child. You can take Christabel from the school she is now to a much better school where she can meet people who are also connected, right? Where she can get better trained and be able to live a life. Now imagine Christabel has become very successful because you were able to give her very good education. Christabel is now, by the time you continue mentioning the name over and over again, the guy will tell you, I get it, I get it, I get it, because right now you are squeezing his move button. If he tells you 700,000 naira monthly, I will change where I am living. I will change my house. The next question, where would you want to be living if you are doing 700,000 naira monthly? He says, I want to be living in Abuja, in the town, in the main town in Abuja. Awesome. The move button now in that case is the main town in Abuja, right? So guess what? You begin discussing with him, right? And as you talk, so where are you currently living now? Right now, I live at the outskirts. Wow. So for each time you want to come to the main town, you have to leave the outskirts, you have to drive through traffic, you have to inhale smoke, you have to do this, you have to spend time, you get so weak, you wake up too early in the morning. Now imagine you are living in the heart of town in Abuja. It takes you only 5 minutes to get to your office. You are more relaxed, you don't sleep, you don't wake up late, you wake up on time, and in 5 minutes you're in the office, blah, 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 blah. You are squeezing his mobile button. Are you with me? When you've done that, you now ask them what they are willing to sacrifice to attain that dream. Ask them. Always ask people, what are you willing to sacrifice? Because they need everybody understand the concept of sacrifice. They need to know that for them to get everything they want, they must sacrifice something. But what to sacrifice now is where their problem is. And when you're handling objections for any prospect, you want them to know that they need to sacrifice. Perhaps they said something about being worried about not earning enough money to put their kids through school, or that they needed more money to retire for vacations and to go for vacations. Let them know you will be showing them how to create a new form of cash flow without changing what they are currently doing. This will eventually help them to earn enough money to do those things that they want to do. That's why I like to call it cash flow advantage, right? You have cash flow advantage over your colleagues, over your friends. What that means that if you and someone work in the same office, both of you earn 200,000 naira as salary, and this business gives you another 200,000 naira every month, it means every year you have 2.4 million naira cash flow advantage over that person. What that translates to is the fact that you can drive cars that person cannot drive. You can go on vacations that person cannot go for. You can take your children to schools that person cannot take their children to. You can live in homes that is a dream for that person, because you make 2.4 million naira more than that person every year. Cash flow advantage. So remember to address their objection with a question, which has an effect of always making them think inwards and reflecting on the situation. This way, you won't have to defend your venture. So you won't have to defend whatever we're doing. So the best man that handles objection is someone that is asking them questions. Ask them good questions, ask them great questions, right? This is also a very good place to use the urgency script again, like I said. When you talk about the money objection, always remember you are selling your team, not yourself, right? And that's what we call the credibility transfer. When we talk about follow-up, that's what we call the credibility transfer, right? So you are not talking about yourself. You're not talking about yourself. The man knows who you are. Probably he was one that gave you money last week. So you don't want to position yourself as a millionaire in front of him. So even though you don't have results, you can say things like, I am confident that I will meet my dreams through this system. Because I've seen people in our groups who became hugely successful from relatively nothing over a short period of time, or from very humble backgrounds, right? Being mentored by the best of the best in this business is one of the best things that can happen to anyone in this business. No wonder everybody is running to join the La Buena Vida, the Own Your Life campaign, going to join our team, C2NFG, because we are being mentored by the best of the best. Show them how they can raise the startup capital, right? Because for some of them who really don't have the money, even though you've said all these things, they still don't have the money. So how do they start up, right? So you have to show them how they can raise startup capital, right? And that's very simple. They can do that by dividing their startup costs over 5 people or thereabout, by borrowing money from them and letting them know that they will be paying them back in 6 weeks. Let them know how they can, raise 5,000 naira from 7 people. That's 35,000 naira. Add 3,000 naira. Let them know how they can raise 10,000 naira from 3 people, 8,000 naira from 1 person. Add 5,000, and add it up. Start the business. Let them know how they can raise money from different location sources, put the money together, leverage on people, and sign up into the business. Now, for someone who says he doesn't have money, right? He cannot raise the money, he cannot do anything. You ask him, is he ready to get started? Tell him you can show him how you can help him get started. Each person that is recruited is a 3,000 naira. It's 3,000 naira. So you can tell him, okay, this is what we're going to do. We can start by you making a name list, right? By you making a name list of people. And once you make those name lists, or you can share some questionnaires to people, and we are going to invite them and book them. You share them, we invite them, we book them, and for any one of them that signs up, you have 3,000 naira. The direct referral bonus that you are going to earn, you can tell him, I will bring out the direct referral bonus of 3,000 naira for you. Remember, you are sponsoring that person under yourself. So you earn the 3,000 naira, you also match 4,800 naira, or you can bring out 3,000 naira for him. By the time the man has done that for 12 people have signed up through his contacts, you have already made good money in your own in your own matching bonuses, but you are removing the 3,000 naira, making it 36,000 naira, and you could add 2,000 naira and you get the guy signed up. Now, some people say, why would I do that? Guess what? He was the one that brought the list. He was the one that made those calls. You taught him how to do the calls, how to make all those stuff, and they paid. And because he had no money to sign up, you are gathering the 3,000 naira to help him sign up. This is just one way. right? It's just one way. Some people will not like, might not like that way. The alternative to it is the person does not sign up. So that is how you can help him get signed up if he really doesn't have money. But when you have done all this, you also need to apply the kill. If I could show you our 6 months plan on how working with our team, we can help you build the cash flow of 300,000 naira to 500,000 naira monthly over the next 6 months, would you be ready to get started right away? If I could show you a 6 months plan to increasing your cash flow by 300% over the next 6 months, would you be ready to get started right away? If he says yes, he will be ready to get started. What do? You show him the SMO checklist, the 444 worksheet, and our 6 months cash flow plan for 38,000 naira, 114,000 naira, 266,000 naira, 570,000 naira. Show him the 6 months plan. Right? That is how you handle the I don't have money objection. Next objection, I want to think, I have to think about it, I want to think about it, right? This objection is quite complicated because this objection is usually what they use to leave people in the middle of nowhere. The prospect who gives you this objection, I want to think about it, and you let him walk away like that, you can kiss that sale goodbye because he just left you hanging in the middle of nowhere. This is one of the most extremely common objections in network marketing, and it can occur even after you've given your best rendition of presentation, right? You can counteract this objection by asking if they have questions about any cloud issues they need thrashing, that needs thrashing. Perhaps your potential prospect needs more information to help him figure out if this opportunity is right for them or not. So we want to ask them, I want to think about it. It's okay. Are there cloudy issues? Something you didn't get clear, right? Because I think that's the case you have right now. Now, some people go about another way saying, what do you want to think about? You want to think about whether you want to make the money or you want to have the good health, right? But those are really not the best ways to go about it. So how do you become a consultant when someone tells you, I want to think about it, right? You respond in the nicest possible way. In the nicest possible way. Mr. Prospects, when someone tells me I want to think about it, it either means one of two things. If someone tells me, just say it nicely, I want to think about it, it means one of two things, right? You can tell him, Mr. Prospect, from our collective experience in the business, right? I normally like using that, but because we are going to be asking a couple of questions here, I don't want to use that immediately. I want to say something like, it either means one of two things. One, it means they are not interested, and two, it means they are interested but not sure. Which one is it for you? When someone tells me I want to think about it, it either means one of two things. It either means they are not interested or they are interested but not sure. Which one is it for you? If they are not interested, you simply pick up a date and time to call them, right? The most likely will say they are interested but not sure. If they say they're not interested, you can say, okay, no problem. What is the way forward towards getting you started? And you can take, probably that conversation is already a dead conversation, right? So, but if they are interested but not sure, what do? You continue, Mr. Prospect. Kindly permit me to tap from our collective experience in the business. When someone tells us, I am interested but not sure, they are not sure for one of three reasons. One, the business is not a fit for them. Two, the functionality of the business is not perceived by them, it's not there. And number three, the problem is finance. Right? If someone tells me they're interested but not sure, they are not sure for one of three reasons. One, the business is not a fit for them. Two, the functionality is not there. And three, the problem is finance. Here you don't ask them, which one is it for you? What you need to do is explain it for them. So you say, Mr. Prospect, let us look at the first one. We have lots of successful doctors, lawyers, military officers, and successful people running this business for the passive income it provides them and their families, right? You might want to expand on it, telling them how these people are now living an amazing lifestyle, how some of them are leaving their profession and coming to focus on this business, because at the end of the day, they know that what they need to take care of their family is the money in the business and not the titles that they have from the profession. Does this business possess what it takes to be a fit for you? Does this business meet your expectations? So you ask him, does this business meet your expectations? Now, of course, you have already said the when you do that, the guy says probably going to say yes, it meets his expectation, right? If he says it doesn't meet his expectation, what that means is that probably you didn't do something right with the presentation. So you might want to get him to see a presentation again. So you might want to tell him, okay, you know what? Can I just send you some information that you can go through, right? As you think about that, will help you think better about it. If he says you want to think about it, you will say, okay, no problem. Say, give me the information. You might want to give him another video, but before you give him, you also have a deadline. You have to have a commitment from him when you would have finished watching it, so that you can now call him back to follow up on him. But probably he will say yes, and if he says yes, you proceed with the line. Mr. Prospect, I am happy this business is a fit for you. You have addressed the first question. Remember, the second question now is the functionality there or not, right? So for you to get to the second question about the functionality, you don't need to ask, you just dive straight into it seamlessly. As for the second part, we can go on and on to tell you about the lives that have been changed in this industry. The internet is filled with success stories about network marketing as an industry. As of today, the industry of network marketing is a whopping $200 billion industry. This industry is bigger than the music industry and the video industry put together. Much, much, much bigger than that, right? When you go online, you can see information after information about why this business is a very huge business. You will see billionaires like Donald Trump, people like Richard Branson, setting up network marketing businesses, talking about network marketing. If you read books like The Business School by Robert Kiyosaki and the Business of the First Century, you see where they talked about network marketing has been a very powerful business. Over and over again, you find this industry being shown to be the industry of tomorrow, a very powerful industry. Billionaires have said it. Donald Trump said, if I were to start again, I will start network marketing. Bill Gates said the same thing too, right? And billionaires says, Donald Trump said something like, if billionaires can do and recommend network marketing, why would you not do it? Are you a billionaire? So for me, I respect the words of billionaires. So you know what? Do you see this industry as a viable machinery with the functionalities to help you make extra cash flow every month? You've already told him that billionaires see this thing as a viable industry. You've already told him indirectly, ask him indirectly, are you a billionaire? By quoting the words of Donald Trump, who is a billionaire, and of course, a president, not just a president of the most powerful country in the world. He said that. And your friend will now begin to look at himself and say, okay, if Donald Trump could say this, who am I? So most likely he will say yes. He sees it as a viable industry, right? This is somebody who initially says he wants to think about it, and then you now move to the next line. Mr. Prospect, if the business is a fit for you, like you said, and the functionality of the business is there for you, like you said, then also what that means is that the problem is actually finance. What that means that the problem is actually finance. Because remember, you told him, number one, it's not a fit. Number two, functionality is a problem. And number three, finance. So you have to put it to him. You're not telling him like a lawyer, I put it to you that the problem is finance. No, you say, Mr. Prospect, if it is not, if the problem is not, if the business is a fit for you, if the functionality of the business is there for you, then the problem is actually finance. Very simple. And then if you say that, you ask him, Mr. Prospect, do you want to do this business? He said yes. Mr. Prospect, do you really want to do this business? Or is your decision to think about it a polite way of saying you are not interested? He said, yes, I want to do the business, so I wanted to think about it, blah, 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 blah. If he says yes, this is where you use the urgency script to increase the urgency of the prospect to making a decision to join on the spot. You can also show him how he can leverage by distributing the sign-up cost across many people, right? So remember again, the urgency script. You can see that over and over and over again, we are mentioning the urgency script because the work of that script is to make you put yourself in the spot where you need to start the business right away. Know that yes, you can get the money to start the business if you want to start the business now. So we apply the kill again. That's where we get our commitment. So if I could show you a 6 months plan on how you can build a business of 300,000 naira to 500,000 naira monthly over the next 6 months, right? And a plan you can use to raise cash so you can get started this business in 3 days and build an amazing business with us over the next 6 months, even though you don't have the money to start right away. Would you be ready to follow my advice, raise the funds, and get started in 3 days' time? Simple. Because he told you don't have money. So now you have given him a deadline for 3 days. Look at the queue. If I could show you a 6 months plan on how you can build a business of 300,000 naira to 500,000 naira monthly over the next 6 months, and the plan you can use to raise cash so as to get started in this business in 3 days' time and build an amazing business with us over the next 6 months, even though you don't have the money to get started right away, would you be ready to follow my advice and raise the funds to get started in 3 days' time? That says yes. So what do you do? SMO checklist, 444 worksheet, 6 months plan. You show that to him, and then you will now teach him again how he can raise the money from 5 people, 7,000 naira from 5 people, add 3,000 naira, 10,000 naira from 3 people, 8,000 naira from 1 person, that's 8,000 naira. How you can raise whatever he needs to do, and how you can give them a commitment to pay back in 6 weeks, and also pay them with an interest of probably 10%, right? So let them know I'm going to pay you back in 6 weeks, and I'm going to put a 10% interest on it in 6 weeks' time. And then we'll run this system, the business with him in 6 weeks, and he will be able to raise the money and pay them. Use the urgency script and give them a deadline to sign up. If you don't ask for the deal will never be handed to you on a platter of silence. If you don't ask them to sign up, they will never sign up if you are quiet. Get that in. This is how you handle the objections. I don't have money. So simple, so professional. It puts you in the driver's seat as a professional in the business. So you guys need to know this. Now I know I can't read your chat now because I am doing the trainings, but I know some of you might be asking, why don't you send us a script? Why don't you send us this? Why don't you send us that? This video is being recorded. This video is going to be put on YouTube, and I will send out the YouTube link for you to watch the video over and over again, right? And make your notes and learn it over and over and learn how to do it, right? And of course, when you go to watch the YouTube video, just give us a like there, click a like, subscribe, and then do the notification button, hit the notification bell, right? Whatever it is, whether it's up there, down there, I don't know, that's how they say it. So wherever you find it, just click it so that you can get notified as we give you more content in the business, right? Now, the next objection I want us to handle is a very complicated one. And this is an objection that the moment most new people hear it, they deflate. And that is, how much money do you make? How much money do you make? Right? Income can always be a sensitive topic. You can choose to be honest and let them know that you haven't collected it all yet, because you earn bonuses that increases the more people come into your team, and that is the truth. This one is from a young man, a gentleman called Big Al. When you ask him how much money do you make, he tell you, I don't know, I've not finished collecting it. And that is the truth, because I am getting paid today for work I did in 2016. Because through those channels, more people have come into the business, and I am getting paid for recruitments I did in 2016. Are you with me? So I haven't finished collecting it. So if you're asking me how much have you made, I really don't know. You might also wish to deflect this back at them by telling them it is not about how much you are making, but how much they can make. That is what is relevant here, right? It's more important when it's about the type of success that they can have as opposed to this kind of success that you have. Because at the end of the day, it is their success that matters, right? Now, when someone is asking you the question, how much money are you making? It comes from there various varieties of that same question. It can be Tunde, how much are you making? Tunde, what rank are you? Tunde, how many people are in your team? Tunde, how big is your team? Tunde, what's the size of your organization? All these questions are the same. They are the same. How you handle them is exactly the same way. What the prospect is looking for is information to determine whether you are someone that is successful enough to work with them. They are thinking that your success will translate to their success, or your lack of success will translate to their own lack of success. That is so false. But for whatever reason we don't know, that is what is going through the head of the prospect, right? They're thinking that for them to be successful, it means that you must have become successful first. That's why I find some people will tell you, go and become successful first. When you are done, you can now come back and tell me, and then I will join the business. But guess what? You go and then you're doing the business, and 2 weeks later, the man has signed up into the business again. Why? Even though he's not successful, and the person who signed him up is also not successful, but because the person was able to handle these objections better, he signed up into the business. So remember to always place yourself in the shoes of the prospect. We're helping them get rid of their pitfalls. So it is not about you. You need to understand that. This is where we help you. We help the blind to see. Your job is to be a consultant that helps them to see. They are asking you the question because they believe, well, that what applies to you applies to them. So if you are not successful, they tend to believe they will not be successful. They also believe that if you are making a ton of money, they might also make a ton of money, right? Because that's a good sign. Because you're making the money, right? So how do you handle that objection when a prospect is asking you, how much money do you make now? Now, what prospect fails to realize? What prospect fails to realize is that your work ethics goes a long way into making money in this business. If you have a great work ethics, you're able to structure your work very well, put in the time, do what you need to do, you make a lot of money. So if I have a good work ethics and they don't have a good work ethics, it doesn't matter what is happening, they will not succeed in the business. It doesn't matter even if I'm making $1 billion, they will not make a kobo because I have the work ethics and they don't have. So in this profession, it is all about the work ethics. In network marketing, it is all about the work ethics. It is as simple as that. That's why you see that when you call for meetings, some people come for the meetings, most people don't come for the meetings. It is all about the work ethics. Some people tell them make your calls. Like today we're having the Amazon project, and we're telling people make 50 calls, and instead of making calls, you find people who are there making 2 calls, 3 calls, and you expect results as somebody who made 50 calls. It doesn't work like that. So here is how you answer the objection of how much money are you making? If you answer it any other way, you'll be hurting yourself, you'll be hurting your team, you'll be hurting your business. This response will create credibility in your team, and prospects will respect you for it. So here is how you answer the question, how much money do you make? So if Jane were to ask the question, how much money do you make, right? If my prospect will ask, I will say, Mr. Prospect, I appreciate that question, but I cannot give you the answer you wish to hear. And I want to let you know the reason why that question does not deserve the type of answer you wish to hear. So when he's asking you how much money do you make, don't tell him 1 million naira, 10 million naira, 5 million naira. No. What you need to do is to tell him that I will appreciate the question, but I cannot give you the answer you wish to hear. I want to let you know the reason why that question does not deserve the type of answer you wish to hear. Mr. Prospect, If I'm telling you I am not making any money now, or if I tell you my team is small, or if I tell you my rank is silver executive, whatever it is, because I told you that all those ones are the same, whether they're asking for money, asking your rank, asking your level in the business, they're all the same questions, right? How much I make now, or my rank in the business, or blah, 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 does not matter at all, because I am currently being mentored. Okay, sorry, and if I tell you whatever my rank is, right, it is going to impact negatively on you, because you are going to begin to think that I can't help you, which is not the case. So let me take it again. Mr. Prospect, if I tell you I'm not making any money now, it is going to negatively impact you because you will think I cannot help you, which is not the case. How much I make now does not matter at all, because I am currently being mentored by the best of the best in the La Buena Vida. I am currently being mentored by people who have built massive businesses, and I'm following everything I am being taught. Right? Now, I can neither tell you I'm making a lot of money currently, nor that I don't make any money at all, as that will make you draw conclusions as to the viability of the business. You now begin to draw conclusions whether it is going to work for you or not, because you are judging the business based on what you are hearing from me, right? Which is not supposed to be the case. I may not have the cash flow, I may or may not have the cash flow credibility you seek to get right now, because I am relying on the support of my senior colleagues in this business who are currently massively successful in the business. These are people who have made millions of naira monthly from the system. Would you want to meet them, one of them, in person, or speak with them over the phone, or probably do a Zoom call with them so they can answer your pressing questions? Very simple. I don't have the credibility, or even if I have the credibility, I don't want to answer myself. I tell them that I am being mentored by some very good guys in the business. Would they want to meet them and take the questions from them? Now, what I can do is I can put the ball of accountability back in your courts, and I can give you what I call an average earning income disclosure statement. What am I saying? What do I mean by that? If the man insists that I should tell him how much I am making, I will tell him what I'm going to do now is to throw back the ball of accountability back in your court. I will give you what I call an average income disclosure statement, which tells you what every single rank, someone in every rank in the business can make, right? An average income that they can make. So would you want me to go ahead and tell you that? If the guy says yes, I'll say, okay, an active silver executive in this business, the word there is active, can make between 300,000 naira to 500,000 naira monthly. An active gold executive can make in a range of over $1 million, of about $1 million naira monthly. While an active global ambassador can make over $1 million naira every month. You give them that. If they insist, you must tell them your own income. Understand this: you have nothing to lose by giving too much information. Have that again in your head. You have nothing to lose by not giving. You have nothing to lose by not giving too much information, but you lose everything by giving too much information. Are you with me? So when somebody tells you, but tell me, I want to know your own, I want to know your own, you need to have that at the back of your mind, that when you tell them too much, you probably might not lose, you might lose a lot. But when you don't tell them too much, you may not lose a lot. So it is better you stick with not telling them too much, right? Because most of these people asking how much you are making are not asking out of a position of concern or wanting to join. They are only just asking to just make you know that you are not someone they can deal with, right? So simply ask them this question: Mr. Prospect, do you want to do this business? Wait for them to answer. If they answer yes, you proceed. Mr. Prospect, do you really want to do this business, or is your insisting on knowing how much I make a polite way of saying you're not interested? Because it's sounding ridiculous that they're asking you, okay, tell me how much you make, tell me how much you make, right? So is your insisting on knowing how much you make a polite way of saying you're not interested? because for whatever reason, I am okay with it. Right? And he can say, no, I just need to know, blah, 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 blah. You have to tell him, Mr. Prospect, you must understand that there is no way I can tell you how much I make, because believe it or not, I am still collecting the money. Believe it or not, I am still collecting the money. And some guys tell me, say, hey, okay, how much have you collected? How much have you made so far? In fact, okay, let's be specific. How much did you make last month? When they keep on pressing for that, you use what I call a show stopper line, right? When you tell them I am still collecting the money, you stop there and say no more, right? Now, but you might want to use a show stopper line, and that show stopper line is to ask the prospect what I like to call an explosive question. You ask him, I'll come to your answer, right? You're not asking, Mr. Prospect, can I ask you a question? And I will appreciate a yes or no answer. Can I ask you a question? You can say yes, 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 go ahead. You ask him, do you think you are, you asking, I will appreciate a yes or no answer. The guy says, yes. You should ask him, right? You ask him, do you think you are smart enough to succeed in this business? You already told you wanted to do the business initially, so you ask him, simple. Do you think you are smart enough to succeed in this business? Do you think he will tell you he was not smart enough? No, he will not say that. Keep quiet and let him speak. This is a showstopper line, right? And this line can come in different places, in different ways. People are bringing all sorts of objections, especially those ones that are really crazy. Do you think you are smart enough to succeed in this business? If the guy says yes, you say, Mr. Prospect, instead of trying to squeeze out an ineffective answer from me, why don't you just make the bold and smart decision of getting started right away? Very simple. So instead of squeezing me, instead of pressuring me into telling you how much I make, which of course I cannot tell you, right? Because I'm still collecting. Why don't you just make the bold and the smart decision to get started in this business right away? Very simple. This is one thing you need to get past before you can even get started. It is making the prospect to tell you that he is capable of running the business. If he is not capable of running the business, then you are wasting your time. No matter what he says, you must speak belief into him. Right? Speak belief into him. I will speak belief into them, and then I will follow up with, I believe you can. I've seen people that have come from nothing, from humble background, do this deal and become massively successful. I have seen ladies with kids, divorced, single parents, who were initially broken, start this business and become massively wealthy. So there is really no excuse. I believe you can do this, and you should believe it too. You should believe in yourself too. You should believe that you too are capable, you too are worthy of success, you too can do this business and grow it. So, Mr. Prospect, what is the way forward towards getting you started right away? Now, you see, these objections are things that you need to learn. The more you learn them, the better you get at them, right? And the more you get better at them, the more you can be able to run these things and create the success that you are looking for, right? So we will soon be done. We are taking number 6 now. I'll try and be a little faster. The reason the other ones are quite short, the reason why I need to finish this is so that I can have it all in one recording and have that recording out today, so people can use it to follow up on people who are coming, who are going to be in their meetings today and tomorrow, right? So be patient. I know it's 9 o'clock now, but we're going to be done very, very soon. The next question, objection people have, I don't know how to sell. I don't know how to sell. So when someone tells you, I don't know how to sell, it is because they think our business is a trading business. They think it's like most of these network marketing business where people carry products, sell coffee to you in the middle of the road, bang on people's doors to sell supplements and things like that. No, that's not what we do here, right? We understand that it's a buying and selling arrangement in network marketing, right? You must be doing buying and selling. But guess what? Not you must be doing. There's a buying and selling arrangement in network marketing. In some other companies, what they do, even in M Global, what most people do is they buy products they want to sell, they buy and sell. They think that their job is to trade it. No. In network marketing, why we are succeeding is because we understand that the buying component, the selling component is done by M Global. M Global sells a registration pack with us, sells product that we buy from them, product that we use. Like the beautiful coffee I'm drinking here, right? And M Global coffee. I drink the coffee. So M Global sells the product, we buy products. We buy by buying what we use, we buy by signing people into the business. So our job is to buy, and M Global does the selling. Our job is not to buy and sell. Our job is to buy and use. M Global does the selling, we do the buying, and with that we create other people who are also doing buying and using, right? Have that at the back of your mind. So when somebody says, I don't know how to sell, what do? What do you say? Mr. Prospect, do you want to do this business? If yes, Mr. Prospect, do you really want to do this business? Or is your saying you cannot sell a polite way of saying you are not interested? If he says you want to do the business, you simply show him how he can run this business by using our system. Because our system does not involve him selling. Make him understand that our business is not a selling business, but a business of building connectors through our system. Let him understand the compensation plan so he knows that the money is not made through the sales of products, but through duplicating a system of generating connectors which they can achieve by using our system. Make sure he clearly understands our system. Be sure to emphasize that our system is an invitation-only system, and we will assist him in the invitation process. Let him know that our system is only invitation, right? Invite people to see a presentation on Zoom. That's what we are doing. Nobody's asking you to sell products to anybody. So I don't sell is actually an advantage to you because we don't sell, right? M Global does the selling, we do the buying. That's all we do. And that's how we are able to build a team. Our job is to build connectors who are doing the same activities that we do. Very simple. Next question, next objection. We're rounding up. I want to speak to my spouse. I want to speak to my spouse, right? Now, I want everybody to pay attention because at the end of it, I'm going to make some announcements about our upcoming events. So if you know you are inviting for the upcoming event today, you need to make sure you are in tune. You stay till the end, right? We're almost done. So I want to speak to my spouse. Now, this could be a brush off. For most people, for most consultants, for a lot of couples, they can't make any expenditure up to 10,000 naira without consulting the other party, right? So for some time, it could be a brush off, or it could be actually be genuine. Some couples don't want to spend anything without the other person knowing what they are spending, right? Especially for women, especially for the ladies. Most ladies cannot spend anything without their husbands knowing what they are doing with the money. But the men can come and spend whatever they want to spend without explaining to anybody, right? So you can have that kind of scenario, you can find that kind of scenario. So, a business opportunity like this can have an impact on the family life. So it is normal for some of them to want to consult their spouse first. For some people, they will never like a situation where their wife is making money. Some will never want their wife to make more money than them. One of my colleagues last couple of weeks did some research. He was trying to get people to come for the Amazon project and was asking the men, would you like a situation where your wife is making more money than you? One of them said, over my dead body. And that's the truth. So you can see some people telling you that they want to speak to their spouse is actually a real clear reason why they cannot sign up right away, because they need to speak to their spouse. If not, there will be trouble in the land. So what you want to do is to tell them how the opportunity can benefit the both of them. Ask them questions to ascertain their level of interest in the business. You want to start by using the lines, Mr. Prospect or Mrs. Prospect, do you want to do this business? If yes, do you really want to do this business, or your decision to speak to your spouse a polite way of saying you're not interested, right? So what you want to do is to find a way to discuss with both of them together. Find a way to discuss with both of them together. Today we are doing Zoom. You can actually put two of them in a Zoom call and show both of them the Zoom presentation. When somebody is bringing a spouse objection, which is genuine, right? You want to ask the person to talk. You want to ensure that you speak to the both of them. Sometimes I used to ask, especially for men, right? I usually ask men sometimes, do you need to have the permission of your spouse to give her the good things of life? Do you need to have the permission of your spouse to give her the good things of life? Sometimes I do that, right? Sometimes I bring an example. If you, where you want to where they work, you say, okay, if you get a call from your office today that they are posting you to, they want you to take a job with Dangote, and your salary is going to be 10 million naira a month, right? Your salary is going to be 10 million naira a month, and you need to make the decision now in front of us. So we place the call to Dangote to give you that job now, right? Would you tell them, no, let me go home and discuss with my spouse first? Or would you take up the opportunity right away? I want to do that sometimes. I try to do that sometimes, right? But even if you do that sometimes, some people say they will still need to speak to their spouse, in which case you don't want to press it. You don't want to press it, right? Before they begin to look at you as the man that is trying to put the proverbial asunder, right? So you don't want to press it. So you want to discuss with both of them together. It is important you let the person know that the person who presented to them has gotten trainings in presentation, have been running businesses successfully. The person who showed them the business has done these things successfully. Let them know that the presenter has taken over an hour, despite his experience and results, to move them to a level up from where they are, from where they were to where they are interested in signing up in the business, right? And let them know that, yes, they have not signed up. So it is also logically wrong for them to assume that they can convince their spouse or their friends in 5 minutes of explaining the business to them to sign up. Let them know that it is very unlikely that they can convince their spouse to join the business. If they try to explain this to their spouse, they will probably never be able to convince their spouse. Most people will tell you, I know it's not my spouse, I know how to talk to him, I can convince him, blah, blah, blah. Guess what? In 99% of these people's cases, in these cases, they never come back because they end up getting convinced by their spouse. All their spouse need to do, tell them it's a scam. It's a scam. I've seen it happen before. It's a scam. And they will say it's a scam. They will never take your calls. They will never call you back again. If the spouse is an obstinate fellow who refuses to attend our briefing, right? So what you need to do, you want to speak to both of them together, right? So you want to get them to invite their spouse to our briefing. If the person cannot come, the person can join us on Zoom for you to show them a presentation, right? Completely. You can also send them a video. But the thing about the video is they can just draw conclusions, the spouse can draw conclusions and abandon it. But if the person really wants to do the business, that's why you need to ask the person, do you really want to do the business? Because if the person really wants to do the business, it is up to the person to convince the spouse to watch the business, to convince the spouse to be on the presentation. Whatever you need to do, whether it's emotional blackmail or however you need to do it, get your spouse to see the presentation because you love it. I have seen ladies who meet me and tell me, I want to do this business, but my husband refuses. He doesn't want me to do the business. He said it's not a good business, blah, blah, blah. I keep telling them, this is your husband you are talking about. This is the person that you have his mumu button. This is the person that you know how to talk to, you know how to convince. You can actually sit this person down, talk to the person, tell him that this is a business that gives me joy. This is the business I want to do. I want to do this thing. I've seen it work for people. It gives me joy. You say you love me. Do you love me? By loving me, are you interested in my happiness or do you want me to be sad? I know this business will make me happy, and yes, I might go through difficult times, but I really need your support to be able to do this business. I need you to help me, to support me, and to give me the grace, right? The blessings and the grace to run this business. I need you to support me. Talk to the person. It's not when the person says, I don't want to do this business, you now keep quiet. He says he doesn't want to do the business and you abandon it. Guess what? You never wanted to do it. You were only looking for somebody to convince you otherwise. But if you really want to do the business, you have to talk to your spouse, insist that you want to do the business, talk to your spouse to understand with you. It will only take a spouse with a black heart and a dark black heart at that, to refuse you when you tell that person that you really love this, you want to do it. And the person says, but you might fail, yes, I might fail. But failure is the staircase that leads to success. Failure is the ladder you climb when you're going to success. Everybody in the world fails at different things before they can become successful. So that is the truth. So it's for you to get your spouse to see the presentation. So if the person decides to see the presentation, guess what? You are now in a position where you can join the business. But if the spouse is an obstinate fellow who refuses to attend our presentations, our briefings, give them the presentation video to watch and then put them in a conference call with one of our leaders, or you put them in a Zoom call, right, to handle their objections. Never be the one to talk to your spouse about the business yourself. Never be the one to talk to your spouse about the business yourself. Remember, the Bible said that the prophet is not accepted in his own home. Use a proxy to get the job done. So if you really want your spouse to join, right, you have somebody who really is interested in the business, but needs to speak to the spouse before they can join the business, ensure that you make the person understand very well these things. Very, very well, clearly. Because it is up to that person to get the spouse to see the presentation. There's nothing you can do on your own. It is up to the person to get the spouse to see the presentation, and for that to happen, you must have done your own homework well, right? So learn how to handle that particular objection. Now, number 8. We have only 2 more to go. Number 8. Is this a pyramid scheme? Is this a pyramid scheme? Now, you can start this by disarming the person, right? I also got this from Big Al, right? In one of the top leaders in network marketing. John, I want to be sure I had you right. That's what you want to tell him. When the guy says, is this a pyramid scheme? Or is a pyramid scheme? Is also all one of those schemes. What do you want to say? John, I want to be sure I heard you right. You are asking if this is a pyramid scheme, right? John, I want to be sure I heard you right. You are asking if this is a pyramid scheme, right? Or am I correct? The guy says, yes, is this a pyramid scheme? Then the next question you want to give him is a showstopper line. A showstopper line. And what is a showstopper line? Is that what you are looking for? Because if you are looking for a pyramid scheme, I cannot help you at all. Simple. This will disarm anybody who comes with that objection. It puts the person on the defensive. What you are actually telling him is that we are showing you something and all your brain is conjuring is scams. Pyramid scheme. Are you looking for a scheme? Are you looking for one of those stuff? Right? So John, I want to be sure I heard you right. You are asking if this is a pyramid scheme, right? Am I correct? The guy says, yes, I'm asking, is it a pyramid scheme? You now ask him again, is that what you are looking for? Because if you are looking for a pyramid scheme, I cannot help you at all. This should disarm them. But if they insist, you want to proceed. If they insist, you want to proceed. Many people are wary of pyramid schemes, right? Because you get the mentality. Many people are wary of pyramid schemes because they are scams, right? And they are illegal. And you need to let them know that your company is a legitimate company. AIM Global is a legitimate company. You also want to mention many famous people who have actively promoted this business. Mention famous business people around the world who are now millionaires, who talk about M&M, right? Donald Trump, Warren Buffett, Richard Branson. This type of business method has worked for them. Many of them are running this kind of business, right? If your client is concerned because a friend had lost money in a pyramid, ask them about it. Ask them, tell me your story, right? It may have nothing to do with your company. So it could be potentially something completely different that they are mentioning. They might be talking about an MMM or one of those other scams out there, right? You need to make them understand that what we have is network marketing. Now, one thing I also want to do, because somebody will say, if you go online, you say that people are talking about is a scam. I also like to telling people, why don't you just go on the internet right now on your phone and type in orange juice scam. Orange juice scam. You will see ton of work, search results on orange juice being a scam. Whatever you want as a scam, just type it, put scam after it, you're going to see it. Because you see, the internet is simple. It is, if you want positive result, ask it a positive question. If you want a negative result, ask it a negative question. Whatever you're asking Google is what Google will give to you. If you are telling Google, show me how to kill myself, Google will show you how to kill yourself. If you are telling Google, asking Google, show me how to go to heaven, it will show you how to go to heaven. So if you're asking Google, is network marketing a scam, it will show you that result. But if you're asking, is network marketing a beautiful business, you will see the beautiful business part of it. Let them know that the business that you are running have been in existence for years and has created so many millionaires. Let them know that the business is theirs to build and will only work for them if they build the business themselves. Let them know that this is a business and the business will not work itself. Let them know that this is show them the model of business in network marketing. Let them know that in network marketing, what we do, make them know the difference between a traditional business and a network marketing business. A traditional business like Coca-Cola manufactures Coca-Cola at 30 naira, adds 20 naira profit to themselves, and then hands it over to a national distributor. That one adds 10 naira. Coca-Cola is now 16 naira. The national distributor move it to a regional distributor. Regional distributor will add 10 naira. Coca-Cola is now 17 naira. Regional distributor will now add 10 naira. Move it to a state distributor. State distributor will add 10 naira. Coca-Cola is now 18 naira. State distributor now moves it to a wholesale shop who adds 10 naira. Coca-Cola is now 19 naira. Wholesale shop adds 10 naira, gives it to a retail shop. Coca-Cola is now 100 naira, and you now buy Coca-Cola at 100 naira. Does not mean Coca-Cola was supposed to be sold at 100 naira, but because of these middlemen, you are paying 100 naira for a bottle of Coca-Cola. You are the one paying everybody down the chain. But what does network marketing do? Network marketing removes the national distributor, regional distributor, state distributor, wholesale shop, retail shop, and the company come close to your office, close to your home, close to your somewhere in your country, opens up an office again, and moves the product into that place close to you and sell to you directly through a channel of people who are recommending the system to you. And as people join the system, as you buy the product of a company, guess what happens? The company makes profit, and they share the profit into two, 60%, 40%. The company keeps 40% for research and development purposes, and the remaining 60%, they share it among everybody that contributed to recommending you to the business. These are all people in your upline. So it is a bonus you earn. But if you don't recommend somebody, there is nobody that will buy in your organization, and you don't get paid any bonus. So you get paid as people buy products, or as people buy products, the company makes money. So you need to make them understand what network marketing is. This is a limited belief in network marketing. So when somebody comes with that idea, all you need to do is first of all find out make sure the person knows that it's not a scam by asking him, is that what you're looking for? And then explain the network marketing system to him clearly so he understands what network marketing is all about. Very important. Objection number 9, I don't understand what it is. I don't understand what it is. Right? Now, some people tell you that they don't understand what the business is. Our job is to help the blind see. If your prospect has seen a presentation and does not understand it, reschedule him for another presentation. It's as simple as that. If he's indisposed to attend the second presentation, send him the presentation video to watch. It is imperative he sees another exposure to clear his doubt. After watching a video, put him with a conference call with your leader so your leader can take his questions from him, right? You also need to take him through our quick start guide or send him some form of explanation to help him grasp the concept more. By far the most effective is to reschedule him for another meeting and to get him to talk to a leader physically or through a conference call, through a Zoom call. After doing that, you might want to send him the explanation of the comp plan, which you have as a PDF, and a couple of other documents you want to send to him so that the man can understand what the business is. If somebody says he does not understand, he needs a presentation. Right? You don't want to start explaining to him on the phone. I don't understand what this business is. Send him again a presentation. Right? And then the last objection we're going to be looking at today is there is too much competition. The market is saturated. You see this over and over again. Right? And if this was true, most of the big companies today will not come up, because despite the saturated market, companies are coming up and they are also carving their own niche and becoming successful on their own. Let them know about the unique products and the unique company that we run. Right? Let them know about it. They need to understand what our company is. They need to know how long the company has been in business. And you also let them know that competition is what motivates you. Competition makes you do better. That when there is no competition, there is monopoly. And once there is monopoly, what happens? You find out that services begin to drop. But when there's competition, everybody raise the bars higher, make the competition plan better, ensures that things work well, bring better products. Competition is actually to your advantage because you can't test yourself against yourself. You test yourself against the competition, right? So we let them know that yes, there is competition out there, but that is why we're in the business. You also let them know that the population of Nigeria is 200 million people. and the population of people doing network marketing actively in Africa and Asia is 2 million. 2 million active distributors in network marketing companies generally in Africa and Asia. The word there is active, not just those who have registered and abandoned, right? Active. 2 million. That means if you take the whole network marketers in the whole of Africa and Asia, 2 million, and bring them into a city like Abuja with a population of, let's say, 5 million people, and you drop them in Abuja, 3 million people in Abuja alone will not have seen the presentation. That means out of the whole Nigeria with a population of 200 million, with the whole people doing actively in Africa and Asia, only 1% of them, of Nigerians, would have seen the business if you drop all of them in Nigeria. There are still 99% that have not done that. And with the 1%, people are doing over 10, 15 million naira every month in the business. Right? So the market is not saturated. There is no competition, even if you think the competition is there. Yes, there's competing market companies, but guess what? The market is huge, and everybody can take enough slice of the pie for themselves. That's why we'll tell you that people we have not even started a business. We've not started. Also, let them know there are 7 billion people in the world today who are waiting for this product or opportunity. You think that there is more than enough prospect to deal with in anyone's lifetime. The market isn't saturated in this regard. Ask them if they have joined the business. That's what I like to do. I say, okay, you say the market is saturated. Let me ask you now, have you joined the business? They said no. Ask them if their relatives have joined the business. Has your brother joined the business? No. Your father? No. Your auntie? No. Your uncle? No. Let them know that the very people around them have not joined the business. So it will not be wise for them to say that the business is saturated. How can you say the business is saturated when a random sampling I just did with you just now with your own relatives shows that most of them have not signed up? Let them know that statistics show that about 2 million active network marketers in Africa, if you put 2 million of them in Abuja, over 3 million people will be left who have not seen this business, who have not joined the business. Encourage them to take positions, as the more they wait, the more they lose time. Let them know that they need to get signed up now so that they can tap into the huge expected growth of the company over the next 5 years. Very simple. So that is how you handle the objections. I want to round up the money of the objection things by pointing you to some key points you need to understand when dealing with objections in network marketing. Always keep these points in mind when you have skeptical prospects. These points will assist you in closing that sale or getting the person to sign up into the business despite those MLM objections, network marketing objections, right? 1, neutralize objections. Be sure to acknowledge them first. Don't fight the objections. Don't disagree with them. When somebody tells you I don't have time, you don't want to tell them, what do you mean I don't have time? You have time, blah, blah, blah. Never do that. Acknowledge them. Very important. Bring up the objection first. If you can diffuse the potential negative, do it before the person ever brings it up. You can do that by telling people, I know you might want to say now you don't have time, but blah, 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 blah. You might want to say you don't have the money, but blah, 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 blah. And we basically try to do that during the presentation. Assume the sale. Remember that positivity attracts the cash, right? Be positive. Always have the mindset that the person you are dealing with is signed up already. When you're closing somebody down and you sign, somebody has already attended the presentation, you call the person, you want to start have the conversation with the person says he has attended the presentation, say, wow, 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 wow. I can only think about what both of us can be doing in the next 6 months, how this business can help us go on vacations, how we can do this, how we can do this, how we can do that. The person has not even signed up yet. But you're already assuming that the person has signed up. You're already living the life, right? Discovery process. You need to learn about your person, about the prospect. You need to earn their trust and figure out the solutions to their problems. Have a nice warming chat with them at the beginning. Don't rush into the close. Try and know more about them. Ask them about their work, what they do for their in their jobs. Ask them why they choose that line of work, right? Ask them what's the one thing about their job they don't like, and show them how our business can solve their problems. Also use the Mumu button questions around here, right? Then question objections and concerns, right? If they make a negative comment, find out why they make the comment and ask them, how do you mean when you say blah, blah, blah? When the guy says, I don't have time, you want to clarify that. You want to ask him, how do you mean when you say, I don't have time? How do you mean when you say, I don't have money? How do you mean when you say, I want to speak to my spouse, right? So clarify the question before you delve in. So objections can be challenging to deal with. You need to discern the real reason behind it. But we can best do this by asking more questions. Be prepared with your tools in case you need to back up your facts or statements. And remember to always practice, practice, and practice again. You will learn to become comfortable with more objections and soon be able to solve these more difficult objections too. The more difficult objections too, right? The good news is the more you do it, the more confident and the more at ease you will be in the business. Remember what Eric Worre said? Eric Worre said that progress is perfection. Now, people will want to naturally do business with those who are successful. Rather than being non-confident, right? Rather than being the one who is not confident, who is always saying, let me get back to you, is it not better you develop your competence in handling these objections so that instead of saying, let me get back to you, you are able to handle these objections yourself, right? This is so amazing. So you need to understand this. You need to understand how to handle objections. When you learn how to handle objections, guess what? You can build the most amazing business. You become the person of authority, and people want to associate with you when they see that you know how to handle these objections, you know how to do this business, and you are going to grow something very, very fantastic. God bless you all. I wish you good luck. Make your decisions today. Let's take our business to the next level. God bless you.